Namaste. Let's start with the subject of happiness. Who isn't seeking happiness today? Not only seeking, we seem to be running after happiness, wanting more and more of it. My car is old, I sell it, I am happy. The guy who buys it, he is happy. If it troubles him, he is unhappy. And if I buy a new car, after another few months, I want a better model, then I'm happy. So, I think it's very short-lived. What exactly is happiness? I would say it's an emotional state, a positive emotional state of desiring and seeking, giving you the pleasure when you acquire it. That's what is happiness. A feeling, an emotional feeling. And if not, then you're unhappy. The nature of the mind is to be happy and also unhappy. Because the mind is dual. It is designed for duality. It functions with both. Both have to exist. In the absence of darkness, you have light. In the absence of light, there is truth. In the absence of bad, there is good. So in the absence of happiness, there is sadness. Both have to exist in life. Life is of duality, of experiencing this and that, here and there. That's what the mind is all about. So those who seek everlasting happiness, I feel it's a misnomer. Leads to disappointment. You may get happiness internally and externally, okay, but for a short period of time. Because your wants never end. And the wants which gives you happy keeps changing, keeps wanting more and more. There's no end to it. So happiness is connected to the material life. In materialism. And at times it's a myth. A myth, why? Because a rich man can be unhappy and a poor man can be happy. There is no proper yardstick to define and measure as who's happy, who's not happy. You may pretend to be happy when you're not. Especially these days when you ask anybody, even if the person is sad, how are you? Oh, very fine, thank you. A spontaneous answer. Are you happy? Oh, yeah, I'm very, very happy. Not to please the other person. It can also be a trap if you don't watch out. It's a vicious cycle taking you on a roller coaster ride of happiness and sadness. To such an extent that in today's life, if you see another person happy, especially someone whom you know, you become unhappy. To the extent that it gives you pleasure inwardly without showing it to the other person, that you are happy when another person whom you know is unhappy. What a strange thing happiness is all about. So you need to watch out on happiness, which we are always anxious about. which we are always seeking more and more, how to be happy. That is the reason the subject of spiritualism does not speak about happiness. It talks about peace of mind, stillness of mind, serenity of mind, sensitivity of the mind. It does not speak of happiness. It is that peace, that quietude, that silencing the mind, which we refer to as meditation, that gives us a subtle sort of a happiness within, which we can't call it as happiness. It's the peace of mind. So the pursuit of happiness can lead you very easily to disappointment. So please do not pursue. Let it follow you. Spiritualism says, become aware. Become aware of both. The two sides of the same coin, happiness and sadness. Accept both with grace and respect. Accept reality as it is. If there is a sad situation, accept reality as it is. Be aware of it. You will be in a better frame of mind to rectify that sadness. And don't get too excited when you are happy. Have control over yourself. Don't get too agitated or anxious or depressed when you are in sadness. Be aware of it. Counter it. Whether it's insecurity, whether it's fear. So happiness, when especially science says that the mind is 80% negative, how can you have too much of happiness? It's not possible. Not possible. When the mind is 80% negative with contempt, jealousy, lust, greed, anger, insecurity, fears, on and on. There's so many negative attitudes, negative factors, negative aspects that we have. We are basically negative. Not we. The mind is basically negative. So spiritualism says, please do not run after happiness. Do not run after happiness. Do not be too anxious to be happy. Another thing, you can't, like many motivational speakers say that you can create happiness. Or they even go to the extent by saying that just being alive, be happy. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest gift, that you're alive. So be happy about it. Sorry. That's not the... You can't create happy. That's the nature of the mind to be happy. That's the nature of the mind. Spiritualism says balance it. Like a tightrope walker. One side is material and the other side is spiritual. Both are required. Both are required. The material life and the spiritual life. You're a spiritual being going through a human experience. So experience both. Experience both. With your mind alert, attentive and aware. Your mind alert, attentive and aware. Balancing like a tightrope walker. If it bends towards materialism, pull the other side. And if it goes towards too much, if you're too obsessed about spiritualism, bend towards this side. Like a tightrope walker. Balance it. Balancing is, I would say, it's the art of living. Because life is duality. Life experiences in duality. Life is a series of experiences in duality. So, in that, you require balancing of the two factors. If you do not know how to balance, like we do not know, 99% or 98% of the people on this planet Earth do not know, because we are all tilted subconsciously in an unconscious manner where the mind is multitasking on auto mode, not requiring the conscious mode at all. Not bothered. Not bothered about the spirit, not bothered about the soul. Of course, we talk about it, we boast about it, that we are very spiritual, but sorry. 98% of the mind, by neuroscientists, they claim that it's functioning on auto mode. On auto mode means you're not even aware of what your mind is doing, multitasking into 4, 5, 6 different things at the same time, chattering randomly, recklessly, here, there, into this and that. Into this and that. Where happiness comes fleetingly for a few moments and goes away. It comes, goes. So, happiness is not outside. It is inside. It is inside. It's your nature. It's your mind's nature. So spiritualism says, the first sign of happiness comes with contentment. The moment you are content, your mind settles down from its restless nature. It starts settling. Contentment makes the mind settle. It starts settling down. Balancing. Sensitivity. Sensitivity means not being sentimental to few. We are sentimental only to those whom we are fond of. Be sensitive to everything that is around. All that exists is energy. Be sensitive. Give a crumpled piece of paper its due respect. Give a fallen book lying on the ground its due respect. Give everything around you due respect. Do not clutter your house, clutter your mind. Give them away to those who need them more. Be sensitive. Try to know your inner self. Constantly watch your own thoughts as to how it's moving. If it's angry, do not go into the quantum of anger. Go into the quality of anger, asking why and how am I angry. Ask. And you can only do that if you're watching your thoughts constantly, from moment to moment, existentially, watching, witnessing. So it's very important. Declutter your mind. Simplify your mind. Create that mindset with all these factors to give you that long-lasting, everlasting happiness which you really want in the form of joy. You can't create that, you can cultivate that. Cultivate that mindset where you have an attitude, where your intentions emerge from towards these factors that I just spoke of. From balancing, sensitivity, contentment, inner self, and all those things. Simplification, decluttering. So these things are very important. Please do not run after happiness. Balance your life and see the peace, the inner peace, the serenity and the joy that will be a part in your life. You may have all the money, all the fame, all the power, family, friends, you'll have everything. But there'll still be something amiss because of not knowing of the spirit and the subject of spiritualism and the subject of soul. So there'll always be something amiss in spite of having all material wants. So please, for God's sake, take spiritualism seriously as a subject, not just to tell others that you're spiritual, but try to understand the subject with clarity as to what it is all about. Why spiritualism is so necessary today in this disturbed, imbalanced world. Thank you for listening. Namaste.